Well, obviously, the bigger picture stuff over the year, it's been an unprecedented year. So obviously that's been different, and hopefully we can sort that out in the future. I suppose, Chris, you're learning every day on the job. There are things that are constantly popping up. Obviously, with it being the first time in the job, there's things popping up constantly that you have to be adaptable to. But um, it's exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's dealing with all sorts of different ramifications through a campaign, through a week, through a year, etc. But that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be able to deal with all that type of stuff and enjoy it along the way, and that's exactly how I feel. Well, first of all, he's been brought in to add, to be himself, and the obvious thing would be that Paul is going to add to any environment. Myself and Paul have had a good rugby relationship for many years now, and he's somebody that I keep in touch with on a regular occasion. We've had him in camp a couple of times, and I'm always been interested of what his thoughts are and his next steps, etc. And yeah, I suppose conversations just keep on happening over a period of time, and yeah, the timing's right for now for Paul to come into camp and get ready for the Six Nations.
Gavin.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Gavin.
I wonder if the two results, and particularly the performances against Scotland last year, show how much you've already developed as a team, or what were your thoughts on those two games?
Well, there were tough encounters, like they always are against Scotland. We play them second last up at Murrayfield, and in recent times, really, we've had it really tough up there. So it's not going to be any different. From a Scottish point of view, I think they are improving the whole time under Gregor, so they're always a threat. And yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter what's happened in the past, because we know which direction that they're trying to go, as long as in the same direction as ourselves, and that's upwards.
Matthew?
Uh, Andy, question for you, please. Obviously, I know you didn't coach directly against Warren Gatland as Ireland head coach, but what have you noticed in the way Wales are trying to play under Wayne Pivac versus the way that they used to play under Warren Gatland?
Yeah, certainly different contrasts in styles, albeit I suppose every coach adapts to the team that they're playing against and the conditions that they're playing in from week to week. But if I look at one of Wayne's first games, he was under the roof in Principality Stadium there against Italy, and they threw the ball around and had great width and great continuity in their attacking game, and that's something that we've seen with the Scarlets, I suppose. That's Wayne's style, which was great on that occasion. And I suppose as the year's gone on, obviously results and the conditions, etc., show that Wayne's got other ways of playing as well. So I know that we played them first game up. I think the roof will be closed, so we're expecting Wales to play the game that we've seen at the start of the campaign.
Julian?
Hi. Question for Andy and Johnny. What do you make of France's chances for this championship, and also can you reflect on their massive improvement recently?
Yeah, I'll go first. Obviously, and rightly so. They've been tipped as one of the favourites going into this tournament for what they have done in the past year. They've got a tremendous squad full of talent and young rising stars that are coming to the fore as well. They play a good blend of rugby as far as the game understanding is concerned, but they also play to the strengths when the time is right. So they're a very dangerous side to play against as always, and there's some continuity in their selection, etc. And yeah, we expect them to be just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than they have been in the past year.
Won't please everybody, but were some of the selections made maybe with an eye to the future? Like, looking at the likes of Tom O'Toole and Craig Casey, or do you think they're there like 100% on merit?
Well, like every international coach would tell you, there's always the here and now and the medium term and the future, and you've got to be able to deal with them all. You know, I suppose selection always comes to first and foremost of do they deserve to be in the group, and with those young lads, etc., that people are talking about, of course they deserve to be in the group because they'll be in the group to make the group better. You know. Obviously, the experience of them being in an international campaign of the ilk of a Six Nations is going to be big for them. So we'll see how they deal with that along the way as well.
Paul?
Hey Andy, just a question about it's a year nearly now. It was the Six Nations last year when the country went into lockdown, and here we are again, and we're going to be here till the 5th of March at least. How conscious are the group of, I suppose, the distraction that we're all looking for in the Six Nations, and that a bit of success for Ireland will help to lift the mood of the nation? Is that something you'll be impressing upon the group?
Of course, it's the obvious question that we put to each other. You know, there's a lot of things going on outside of camp, and sometimes you can get carried away in your own bubble. But it's a realisation of what is going on in the world and the joy that we can bring to the nation by making sure that we're at our best. So we understand that responsibility as well.
Emma?
Andy, what do you want to see from Ian Henderson during this campaign?
Get fit, get back on the park, and get back to your best rugby. You know, we know exactly what he can do when he's at his best, and yeah, any team in the world would want a fit and rowing Ian Henderson. So we'll see how he comes back into camp. We'll assess how he goes in the first 12 days of preparation leading up to the Wales game, and hopefully we can get him back up to speed as soon as possible.
Martin?
Hi Andy, you said that obviously there are two favourites going into this championship and you want to see Ireland back up there. How far away do you think this squad is from challenging England and France?
Not far at all. I think certainly we made a couple of comments at the end of the autumn, you know, but we know where we're going, and we know how far we are from being there, and we thought we made good strides, and we're nearly where we want to be. But this is it now. The Six Nations is a fantastic competition, and it's there to be won by a number of teams. But to do that, there's a few things that we need to obviously keep getting better at, and I suppose obviously the question has been over the last while about dealing with the big games, etc. You got to get through your first game and your second game to assess where you're at before you start talking about the last game, which is where we want to be, obviously, to try and to compete to win a competition. But we're a side that has developed in many ways, but at the same time, it's putting all the pieces together so that it culminates in the performance that we are proud of internally as well. Well, we'll see. I suppose there's a progression, a natural progression that needs to happen for Tiger himself to be physically and mentally right, to earn the right to be available for Wales. So we'll see how this week plays out. Speaking to Tiger yesterday, he had a great day yesterday. Feeling good, feeling fit, strong, meeting all the requirements, hitting great markers, etc. Feels in good spirits, etc. So hopefully we get him through to the end of the week and he can get some minutes under his belt for Leinster who've selected, etc. And then, the plan would be all going well that he comes back into camp on Sunday with us, and he has a full week's lead into, and we can assess where he's at.
Andy, just for me as well. Just yeah, I was going to ask about this like for the other one that's been out of action for a while and would be great for you to kind of have as another weapon would be James Lowe. Do you know if he's close enough? Would he be in the mix for the Wales game as well?
Yeah, again, like Tig, he's progressing really well. All the guys that have been selected, Pat, they're at a stage where they're progressing, and like everyone, like Johnny here for himself, you know, there's a few protocols that a few lads have to get through this week, but hopefully, come the weekend, all's going to be good on the news on that front, and we'll have a straightforward week into Wales.
Andy, if I could just ask, the provinces have been pretty dominant in the Pro 14 this season. Welsh regions have been a bit hot and cold. Do you think that serves as any sort of precursor or any indication as to what might transpire when you come to Cardiff?
Well, you know, it's certainly credit to our provinces and our provincial coaches, etc., of the dominance that's been showed over a period of time in the Pro 14. But I'm sure the Ospreys would have been pretty happy with what happened at the weekend. You know, Connacht's the sports ground is a really tough place to go, and to come back into the game like they did and play some really good rugby, I suppose they'll be buoyant, especially with a lot of the Welsh boys that were on show on Sunday afternoon. So I'm sure that they bounced into work on Monday in the Welsh camp in good spirits.
Hi Andy, can I just ask you a quick question there on Dan Levy? I know he had a bit of a setback there before the Munster and Leinster game, but given his talent, is he someone that might come into your plans later down the line? Like I know you've a wealth of options in the back row, but you want people to know just how good he is.
Well, I mean, the clear and obvious answer to that is a Dan Levy that's firing on all cylinders will put his hand up to get in any side in the world, wouldn't he? So, you know, it's a bit early for Dan, obviously, with a couple of steps forward and maybe one back, but he's progressing nicely over a period of time. You know, it was a long old time off, and it obviously takes time for guys with an injury of that magnitude to feel his way back into. I'm sure Dan will do in the next period of time.
Perfect. Thanks.
Johnny, just a question. I know Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool was talking about how difficult it is to foster a team spirit with social distance and things like that. Is that something you've kind of found, you know, that you can't do the usual handshakes, you can't spend so much time together in meeting rooms and that? Is that something you've talked about? Is there anything you can do over the next